Now at 10, the Joplin Police Department breaks down how solicitors are properly permitted, and some residents share their experiences with them. Plus, intense flames engulf a house in Fort Scott, Kansas. We'll have details. And some old classic cars make a pit stop in downtown Joplin. We'll tell you why.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
An Aurora, Missouri woman charged in a crash that killed 4 people on motorcycles will stay in jail, at least for now. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. A judge has ruled 53-year-old Teresa Minetsky will remain jailed without bond. The judge denied her attorney's request that Minetsky be released on her own recognizance while she seeks continuing medical care. Authorities say Minetsky was driving while intoxicated on June 3rd when she crossed the center line and crashed into a group of people on motorcycles on Highway 39 north of Aurora. 4 people on the motorcycles were killed. 6 others were injured. Minetsky was also seriously injured. You can read more about this story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Fort Scott, Kansas fire crews today battled intense flames. Crews responded to the house fire at Wall and Barbie. When they arrived, they say they found half the home engulfed in flames. As you can see here, the firefighters were unable to go inside. Fortunately, the resident had already gotten out before firefighters arrived and no one was hurt. Fire crews say the home is a total loss. They're investigating the cause of that fire. A grand jury hands down a federal indictment involving a May traffic stop in Jasper County where a state trooper found 80 pounds of methamphetamine. On May 28th, a Missouri Highway Patrol trooper stopped 26-year-old Devion Boykin near the Sarcoxy exit on I-44. The Pennsylvania man, they say, was driving a vehicle that had been rented to another person and he did not have a driver's license. The officer found 81-pound bags of meth in a shopping bag and a suitcase in the SUV. 80 one-pound bags. He also found a loaded gun. Authorities say Boykin was recorded on the dash cam discussing the meth on the phone while he was inside the police car. You can learn more about that and the case on the KOAM News Now app. 2 young solicitors today asked the Joplin Police Department to share their picture on social media so residents can know they are legit. Well, it turns out they are trustworthy. Many are, but others might not be. There is a specific way for you to know if a solicitor is properly permitted. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has details.
While solicitors knocking door to door might not be very popular with everybody,
I haven't had none here lately.
many Joplin residents take time to talk to them and might even buy their items.
I just open the door and look at them and ask them what they want. They can either tell me what they're there for or leave the porch.
In Joplin, to be able to go door to door selling items, solicitor needs to have a specific permit from the city. To obtain the document, they go through a background check. But not everybody needs that license.
The farmers or people selling vegetables out of the back of their vehicle, those do not. Religious or charitable organizations do not. You do have to be at least 17 years old in order to be able to solicit the city of Joplin as well.
Hayden Derry chose to put a no trespassing sign in his house. Even though he was not targeting solicitors, it also works for them.
Less soliciting and more or less just trying to keep people out of the yard. We've had some issues in the past where some people have taken a few things, so we thought maybe that would deter somebody.
Solicitors should be paying attention. If you have like a no solicitors sign posted or a no trespassing sign posted, solicitors should be obeying those. If they don't, they could be subject to trespassing charge of.
Because of his sign or because there are not a lot of solicitors in his neighborhood, Hayden feels like he's not exposed to them.
I don't really have an opinion on something I haven't experienced, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine as long as, they're respectful.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
Joplin Police Department also says that if a citizen or a law enforcement officer requests the credentials, the solicitor needs to show them. It's going to be really hot out there in the coming days, meteorologist Sam Lane.
That's right, Dow. It's going to be hot to be out there soliciting or anything outside, really. And the UV index forecast for tomorrow shows it's going to be in the extreme category, 11 on the scale of 0 to 12. That means less than 10 minutes to start getting a sunburn. So definitely have the hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, find the shade, and limit your time outside. One of the things that you could do is head out to the lake. We're looking at Grand Lake, looking right near normal at 743.99. Table Rock Lake is a little bit above normal at 1.2 feet above normal, but still not bad. Stockton Lake is also a little bit above normal right now at 1.27, but it looks like it's going to be a great weekend to go out to the lake. Here's a look at your 4th of July forecast, a little bit of a head start on that. 68 in the morning, 93 for the high, and maybe some isolated storms by the time fireworks start at around 10 o'clock. Looking down the lane, we have some record heat to talk about, as well as the drought continuing and some Saturday storms and a hot holiday weekend. And I'll tell you all about it when we come back.
See you soon. One of the country's biggest old car rallies, the Great Race, stopped in Joplin today. 127 cars are taking part. Some really great old cars. The Great Race is a 9-day, 2,300-mile journey from St. Augustine, Florida to Colorado Springs, and this is day 5. Officials say it tests the endurance of cars and teams who come from all over the globe. Tomorrow, the teams are going to go through Emporia, Kansas, before spending the night in Wichita. KOAM's Great American Flag Swap continued today. Let's 4-staters trade in their old, tattered American flags and get brand new ones. It was at 2023 East 32nd Street in Joplin at Arvest Bank. The American Legion helped us in retiring those old traded-in flags, doing it the proper way. This was the second flag swap we held. Within the first hour, all 100 of today's flags were traded out. It's more than just trading out flags, but also supporting our local veterans.
Is what we call it. It's an associate impact group where we take time and we devote resources to finding out how Arvest can support veterans in our own community. And so, when you asked about flag swap, I'm like, that's helping veterans. That's showing support for the veterans that have served. So what better way that we could show support?
Our next flag swap is September 1st in Miami at Wesco. You can find information about that one and others, as well as flag etiquette, at koamnewsnow.com/flag. Webb City Educational Center today honored local educators. The Southwest Center for Educational Excellence hosted its Regional Teacher of the Year celebration. 17 teachers were nominated. 2 were chosen as winners. Those winners are Amanda Royster from Carl Junction and Nikki Deaton from Sarcoxie. They're going to go on to represent the Southwest Missouri region in the statewide competition for Missouri Teacher of the Year. Pittsburgh's Knights of Columbus today honored area organizations they're helping. It's part of their grant announcement celebration. The event looks to honor the recipients of their annual grants given by the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas. Grants were given to 9 organizations. Coming up, pop legend Madonna's road to recovery after being found unresponsive due to a health condition. We're going to tell you what we know. Plus, the Better Business Bureau raises awareness on how to stay safe from scammers targeting people with Alzheimer's disease. Better Business Bureau is raising awareness of scammers targeting people with Alzheimer's disease. Experts say there are some things older adults and their loved ones can do to stay safe. 1, if something feels off, tell someone you trust. Also, never share sensitive information over the phone or online. And if you're caring for someone with Alzheimer's, watch out for warning signs that they might be targets.
When it comes to older adults, it can be things such as online purchases, maybe not as familiar with technology, what looks like a good website or ads on social media, and oddly home improvement scams, because sometimes older adults are lonely and isolated, and that person comes to the door and develops a false sense of trust. It's very easy to fall for some sort of home improvement scam.
June is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. Legendary entertainer Madonna has been receiving medical care in the hospital, it turns out. Reporter Bradley Blackburn has the latest from New York.
Madonna's manager, Guy O'Siri, says the legendary singer spent several days in an intensive care unit after she developed a serious bacterial infection. O'Siri posted the news on Instagram, saying Madonna's health is improving. However, she is still under medical care and a full recovery is expected.
Bacterial infections can be deadly if they are allowed to go untreated.
According to the New York Post, Madonna was rushed to a New York area hospital on Saturday where she was intubated for at least one night after being found unresponsive. As a result, Madonna, who is 64, is pausing all commitments, including her upcoming Celebration Tour, which was set to begin in mid-July in Vancouver, Canada. The retrospective tour was scheduled to include North America and Europe with more than 80 performances over 6 months.
You think people would come to that show?
I'll be there.
Well, I'll be there.
When you get a whole world that loves you like the way they love her, she's really determined to get on that stage, in my mind.
David Fishoff, a live music producer and owner of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, says Madonna maintains her appeal by reinventing herself.
What's so great about Madonna has been just her longevity, and just changing her music and always going with the times.
The Michigan native soared to superstardom in the early 1980s with hits including Like a Virgin and Material Girl, followed by Vogue in 1990 and more in the decades that followed. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Madonna's Celebration Tour sold out in just minutes in several cities, with fans buying up to 600,000 tickets in one day, according to Billboard magazine. A little later, the Joplin Outlaws face off against the Nevada Griffins in a doubleheader. We're going to have the highlights.
We're tracking the heat across the area. I'll be back to tell you what we can expect for tomorrow as far as temperatures, as well as a look at your holiday weekend forecast when we come back. Well, it was a hot one out there today across the 4 states, but if you thought today was hot, just wait till tomorrow and then we'll talk. So let's take a look at the sky cam this morning down in Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. As we go through the morning, you see we started out with some puddles on the parking lot, but then that rapidly evaporated and we had just a few mid-level clouds through most of the morning. Then the sun came out and boy did it really heat up across the area with bright blue skies, just a few clouds in the afternoon and this evening. Not really going to prevent any hot temperatures for tomorrow. We made it up to 99 today after starting out at 70, which was above the normals of 89 and 68 and pretty close to that record of 102 back in 2012. And of course, we're about 8 inches behind on rainfall for the year. There is some rain on the radar, but it's way out to the west in western Kansas and eastern Colorado, even a severe thunderstorm warning there. But unfortunately, that is all moving away from us. Instead, we're left with heat. A heat advisory is in effect for a large part of our area until Friday evening at 7 o'clock. A heat warning was in effect for northeastern Oklahoma until about 9 o'clock this evening. Probably will be reissued for tomorrow and could expand a little bit. Temperatures this evening are still in the upper 80s, like Iola with 87, same thing in Pittsburgh. Meanwhile, it's 88 in Independence as well as Sedan. A little bit cooler over there in Stockton, where they're currently sitting at 81. But when you factor in the dew point, it feels like it's in the 90s, even close to 100 still at this hour in Neodesha, Independence, and Nowata, with upper 90s there. It feels like 86 though over there in Mount Vernon. And as we go through time, take a look at this. Tomorrow afternoon, it's going to feel like 112, 111, 110 across a large chunk of our area. So everyone is going to feel uncomfortable tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday, it's still going to feel like it's over 100 degrees. In fact, around 106, 107 in many locations on Friday afternoon. And unfortunately, no rain chances. 0 through pretty much the next 36 hours, maybe an isolated shower or storm late tomorrow night, but that is about it, as we're expecting most of the rainfall to occur on Saturday night into Sunday morning. By Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, there'll be light amounts. And then as we go through the evening, we start to see an uptick in the rain chances as well as rainfall accumulations, maybe around ½ an inch in some of the heavier storms. But no rain tonight. Instead, we're looking at lows in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Then tomorrow, these are the actual temperatures, folks. Over 100 in many locations. In fact, everyone will be above 100, including Bentonville with 101, 106 scorching degrees in Fort Scott tomorrow. And then as we go into Friday morning, lows in the upper 70s to around 80. And then Friday afternoon, temperatures once again over 100 degrees from Joplin to the west, around 101 in Fredonia. A little bit cooler, if you want to call it 98 cooler, over in Greenfield. Then on Saturday morning, lows in the 70s with partly cloudy skies. And it's all because of this ridge of high pressure that's sitting over us. The good news is it's going to start to move away from us towards the southeastern United States, allowing rain chances to start to come into our forecast. In fact, here's a look at the forecast. Alert day tomorrow and Thursday and Friday with temperatures over 100, possible record breaking tomorrow and Friday, and then storms on Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then 93 on Monday. 4th of July, 93, scattered storms possible, and we actually are around normal next week.
Boy, normal never sounded so good.
Exactly.
Thanks,
Yep.
Sam. John Dales joins us now. Some high school football news today.
Yeah, big change to Kansas high school state championships. And the Outlaws have a busy day to end all busy days. I got more on those stories on the other side. The Joplin Outlaws don't get a ton of rest in their busy schedule of traveling across Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas. But yesterday they did, after their game with Nevada was postponed and became a doubleheader today. Now that rest was a good thing because early this morning, the Outlaws also host youth baseball camp, packed with local kids that get 2 days to learn from the players they cheer on at Joe Becker Stadium all season. Day one seems by all standards to be a huge success, and Outlaws manager Chris Dawson says it serves as a great reminder about what a summer in Joplin is really all about.
I think anytime you can get around a bunch of little kids and just have fun and remember that baseball is supposed to be fun, I think it helps. And so, but the kids look forward to it. I think, especially once they get around the guys too, it really kind of boosts their spirits. So
it's a good experience. It's kind of exciting seeing these kids. We were all in their shoes. We had older guys help us out, so it's good to give back to the community and do our part in our time here in Joplin. A lot of them are happy to be here, and it makes us excited to be out here. And when they're excited, that gets us excited.
Like I mentioned, no rest at all for the Outlaws. Just 3 hours after camp wraps up, the whole team piles into their bus and takes the hour trip up north to Nevada for a doubleheader this evening. Outlaws and Griffins battling the steamy elements in Game 1. We start out with our highlights of Game 1 in the third inning. No score between Nevada and Joplin until Pittsburgh State's Nixon Brannon whacks this one into right field. That'll find some grass, and Garrett Chun will come around to score. The Outlaws take the early 1-0 lead. Same score in the fourth inning until Jarrett Nelson knocks this one up and over the fence, out for a solo home run. Outlaws feeling good on the road early. They lead it 2-0. We go ahead in the bottom of the fifth inning. Joplin led 2-1 until London Penland sent this one into left field. Colton Reynolds had some trouble with the sun. The ball drops down, and Nevada ties it up 2-2. Real interesting scenario here in the top of the seventh. Runner at third, Caden Bressler, seems like he grounds out over at first, but the umpires discuss it. They say he's safe, and Joplin would take a 3-2 lead. He'd score later in the inning as well, so the Outlaws had a chance to close it out in the bottom of the seventh up until Nevada has a bases-loaded double. J.C. Berry keeps the ball fair. It's a walk-off double. Nevada rallies back to win Game 1 of the doubleheader, 6-5 over Joplin. Second end of the doubleheader was just about the same, not quite as tight, but the Outlaws lose it. They go 0-2 on the day. Conversely, Nevada seems like it might be hitting its stride right now. That's 3 wins in a row for the Griffins. They've also won 5 of their last 6, and they've now swapped places with the Outlaws in the standings. They're in second place. And we're still a long ways away from high school football season, even further from state championship weekend, but got some exciting news on that front today, that being the Kansas State High School Activities Association is changing the format of its football state title games. Now, previously, the championship game for every class was on a different location, but in the same day. Now, it's announced today classes 6A to 4A are all in the same spot, as is the case with 3A to 1A, and on top of that, there will be 1 game on Friday and 2 on Saturday. 8-man and 6-man classes will be grouped together as well. Those locations for all those games are yet to be announced, and these changes all take effect beginning in 2024. But going back to baseball real quickly, we were talking about the Griffins and the Outlaws. It's tough to see the Joplin team struggle a little bit, but Nevada at the same time hitting its stride. It's good to see any 4 states team, picking up steam.
The other side of the coin.
Yeah.
For every loss, somebody wins. We'll be right back. Pittsburgh Public Library today hosted Story Time in Lincoln Park in Pittsburgh. This event gives kids the opportunity to watch their favorite books in puppet form. They also participate in arts and crafts and sing along to music. Story Time is intended for preschoolers to 6 years old, but Any age is welcome to listen and enjoy. Although turnout wasn't quite as big as usual, kids still had a blast.
Actually, today was smaller than usual because the buses from the schools didn't come. But today, for a small turnout, was over 100 people, and we've had well over 250 people at story times this summer for each story time.
The next story time is going to take place Monday, July 3rd at the Pittsburgh Public Library this coming Monday. At the Crawford County Historical Museum, nearly every Wednesday is Wacky Wednesday, and today's Wacky Wednesday had a special guest. Kids got to meet an actor playing Oklahoma's world-famous Will Rogers. Not exactly a look-alike. Rogers starred in 71 movies, made more than $2 million per movie back in the 1930s. Wacky Wednesday also has various activities for kids.
My favorite part about Wacky Wednesday is helping everybody.
You like to help everyone? What do you help them with?
I help people when they get hurt. That doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it does.
You can register your child for Wacky Wednesday by visiting the Crawford County Historical Museum website. Looking how to find out a swinger, a lariat, or all those sorts of things. It was warm out there for that.
Very warm outside for any outdoor activity. Just be aware of that. Stay hydrated tomorrow. An alert day in effect, 102, 100 on Friday, which ties the record. Cooler on Sunday with a high of 88.
Final sports notes.
Cardinals had me fooled. I thought they would continue their win streak tonight, but the whole season should have showed me otherwise. They give up 5 in the 8th, and they end up losing.
Oh, man, they've had some tough breaks.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.